Hey, what is going on, YouTube? It has been a long time. And honestly, I didn't even intend on making this video, so I kind of want it to be longer than this. But I did do a little bit of research. You know, there is some downtime on the game, and I was like, well, let me try out Feral. That brought me to some YouTube searches to get a general idea of like, hey, what is Feral about now? Because honestly, I haven't been really looking into it. Now this video is going to just be my thoughts about Feral Druid. Now do take into consideration, I've been out of the Feral gameplay for a long time. So everything that I can say is probably wrong, just like it always is, right? But what I have seen is a lot of people talking about Wildstalker and that they're really enjoying Wildstalker. I just noticed there's like this weird picture frame within this. I don't know if that's supposed to be intended or not. Um, but anyways, right? And the idea is like, hey, you know, bleeds are back. Now, I would very much disagree. Bleeds are back. I don't think so. I don't really think Wildstalker has an intended gameplay. It is very much its own thing, and it works on itself. So to be successful, you could probably run anything. Although I would say Wildstalker has a very difficult gameplay style, especially in Mythic Plus. If you are in Raid, um, I think Wildstalker is going to be very easy, although I would say Wildstalker is probably going to get surpassed. Maybe maybe this patch, probably future patches. I think Druid of the Claw, which is emphasized on, you know, Ferocious Bite, that's always our best attack. Anything with scaling with Ferocious Bite, like this point, 10% damage down, is going to continue to do better. Whereas this is seeing a little bit more AoE. This does also have damage tuning nodes. So 5% here, just 3% general. And then this one's also got 2% that can really be increased with mob size. So this one's going to be a lot more AoE focused, whereas this one. But the only thing that's a bummer is, although this may be a little bit more AoE focused, this gameplay it specifically makes you play a certain way, and I would say it is not beneficial to do anything complicated. I was in the last dungeon I was healing, and there was a feral doing Moonfire and also Adaptive Swarm, so I would imagine probably also Unbridled Swarm. These are very complicated things that are going to complicate your rotation, that I would really shy away from running if you're doing Wildstalker. And then, so let's just take a look at the gameplay and what does this want to do? So the whole theme about Wildstalker is apply rips to everything. I mean, that's easy enough. A little bit more difficult this expansion that we have less range, but easy enough, right? That's just one button. And then apply rakes to everything that we possibly can. The more rakes that we have and rips that we have active, the higher chance that we have Wildstalker vines to appear. Now, when those Wildstalker vines appear, they are damage itself. But in AoE situations, we are going to really want to tag those specific vines and bite them. Now that is going to take away completely from Feral's funnel playstyle, where you could basically, as Feral Druid, target one mob and then just AoE everything down while focusing on that one mob. That is going to take away from the game style completely, and instead you're going to focus those bites on any random mob, as the game is basically RNGing tell you to do so. So we're going to go ahead and do a rotation. What I'm going to be focusing on is raking everything, and then I'm going to be focusing on my bite procs to be biting the vines. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and convoke right off the bat, and then we'll worry a little bit more about. Okay, so this one's got a vine. We'll bite that. Break this. Bite that. Rake. This one's got a vine, I can bite that. Any rakes running low? Any vines? This one's got a vine. This one rakes running low. I needed to refresh blood talents, but there it is, okay? I don't know if we're gonna be able to bite that one. We can bite this one though. Maybe. There we go. Now we need to refresh rakes. Do we have anything we could bite? There we go. Rake. So you can see the gameplay, right? It's, I mean, maybe you can say, oh, you don't seem like you're having a difficult time. I mean, maybe. But this is also just like a dummy, right? This would be really difficult in Mythic Plus. Like if I actually got to like follow mechanics, if I have to bite this mob, but then interrupt this mob, if I need to run away, it's going to be really difficult. So what are we even looking like damage-wise? So you guys can... Is this it? Yeah. What we're going to look like damage-wise is if you're building correctly, you're going to see bursting growth and rampant ferocity, you know, relatively similar. And that's going to really be your AoE is biting those vines, right? Uh, which is a really difficult task. Now, I will say something that I haven't seen anybody talking about is Wildstalker is very heavily going to be focused on haste. Haste is really, really important for Wildstalker. And when you think about Wildstalker in these vines, you really need to think about Apex Predator's cravings and these bite procs, right? How can we force more bite procs? Well, we can introduce more mobs, right? Same with Wildstalker, but we can hit certain breakpoints of haste. Certain breakpoints of haste are going to increase the tick rate of our rips, increase the tick rates of our rakes, right? Um, So it's very similar to Apex Predator's Craving, except these are also going to get off your rips and your rakes, right? Now, if we have more of these active, hello, in AoE, I'm just going to start getting more damage increases, 2% per thing, which is going to be really helpful scaling into the next expansion, right? Which is great. And then if I have more of these vines just actively proccing, I might not have to be super worried about tab targeting like I do now, but you're still going to be a tab target gameplay. Um, Now, as far as single target, you know, I think Druid of the Claw will eventually beat this out, but I think it's very similar. But again, what I would probably say, you guys, is a Mythic Plus, the gameplay is going to be a lot more difficult. I don't think it's going to be beginner friendly. I don't really think it's going to be Mythic Plus friendly at all, as far as like doing mechanics, having lower range. So just there's just food for thoughts. Now, what I will probably running if I do run Feral, if I do play any Feral Mythic Plus and actually get invited, I'm probably going to be running Druid of the Claw. A lot more simpler gameplay. What you notice on my talents, again, the talents are very free, except you want to pick up things that are going to be increasing your damage, right? Ravage, you think about it as like it's basically a replacement of your Feral Frenzy, or what's it called? Is it Feral Frenzy? No, it's Ferocious Bite. You know, so things like these are going to increase the damage, and you can even just scroll over. You can talent out of this, and you can talent in it and compare the damage, right? So I'm going to go ahead and Saber Jaws, which takes me out of Circle of Life. I don't want to. You're going to try to do things to cast Bite more often. If I'm casting less Primal Wraths, and then this is going to help me cast less Primal Wraths, I can Bite more often, right? So that is what we've done. And then in AoE, you still want to maybe be focused about your rakes, but it doesn't need to be as, you know, as much of your focus. And then what you're going to see here is there is also a bleed. Now this bleed is a lot more easier to keep up because it is mostly just dependent on your combo point, just pressing your combo point abilities, and I didn't even invokes. So that's going to really help keep up that bleed as well. Okay, I think you get the game style. Very easy. A lot more focused on, you know, rampant ferocity, ravage, ferocious bite. You know, getting in those. And I think it's a lot more easier. And a lot of that, I'm just like just staying on this one target. You know, refreshing rakes occasionally to get my blood talents proc up, which then ends up spreading. Gameplay is just a lot more simplified. Now, this is also going to be a lot more dependent on crit and mastery, right? Because it's focused on bites and bite damage. You know, it's like, so what are those going to be? You know, what are they going to be the best sets that increase that? Now, I will say yes. I don't know why I can't think of my talent. Yes, Ravage occurs through haste, and that's why you also want to be picking up, you know, these hasted talents. Tiger's Fury increase your haste. Frantic Momentum, you know, those are going to help with your haste. Haste is going to be, you know, important, but it's not going to be as important, you know, as just when you do get those procs, just making some big damage. But that's it. Those are kind of my thoughts. You know, hopefully you guys are enjoying the spec. It is very nice that we have two different builds. I kind of just wish that Wildstalker was a little bit more friendly of a game style, of a gameplay, but unfortunately, a big part of this game is this bursting growths in AoE situations, and this bursting growth alone talent just really makes this kind of unplayable for me. We'll see when haste gets better, and then maybe you don't have to worry so much about tab targeting because just the vines are occurring more often. But as of right now, I think this, making this a part of your gameplay, which you're going to need to be successful, I think, and competitive with the other talent, it's very difficult. But that's it for me, you guys. Take it easy. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. I'll go ahead and leave a link to my weak aura. I did mess with the weak aura a tiny bit. Basically, the only change that I've done on the weak aura is for um, both different new talent selections. You're just going to have this line right here. So this line on Druid of the Claw is just going to show your bleed. You can keep that bleed from running out by just pressing combo point abilities. And then also there's a number here that's going to be a time frame for when you do have when your bite does turn into the ravage attack. There's going to be a timer on there just so that you can, if you're trying to hold that ravage attack for something specific, you can have a timer. And then as well for this vines talent, you're going to go ahead and see a line occur for the vines, the same exact line. And then there will also be not a timer, but it's going to be a stack. It's going to show your stacks of those vines. So it's like, let's say you're targeting this mob, but you don't see a line here, but you see the stack. That's because somewhere amongst these targets is your vine proc, and you got to go find it, right? But that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoy the expansion. I hope Feral does well. It'd be cool being able to play Feral and get invited to some keys, but I will probably be playing a healer spec in the meantime. Take it easy, everybody. Peace out. Bye.